Before we get to the content, I just want to let you guys know we're giving away a PlayStation 5 at the end of the month. We have 3 to give away, their digital edition PS5s, to a subscriber that turns on our notifications on this channel. Whether you're an old subscriber or a new subscriber, if you sub and hit that notification bell, you have entered for a chance to win a PS5. If you want additional entries, then make sure you're following us on Twitter and Instagram. And now that we got all that out of the way, break! Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? It's a very great day if you happen to be a football fan, because the Super Bowl is right around the corner. But it might be an even better day if you're a Ncaa football fan, or if you're a collegiate sports fan that is a die-hard video gamer, because there has not been a brand new Ncaa football video game for the last 7 years. We're going on year number 7, ladies and gentlemen. The game was disbanded over the past 7 years, mainly because of a lawsuit that was fired on the behalf of Ed O'Bannon for EA Sports being able to profit off of the likenesses of collegiate sports athletes without compensating them for it at all. This also goes against the amateurism that the NCAA likes to hide behind. And to be honest, as great of a game NCAA football was, it wasn't very monetizable. If you compare NCAA football to what EA Sports has been doing with Madden and what they've been doing with FIFA more recently, they primarily make their money off of microtransaction-based video games like Ultimate Team, which is a game mode where you spend in-game currency to buy points and use those points to buy booster packs, and hopefully those booster packs contain a legend or two that you could integrate in your team. Then you take your team and play against other poor souls that don't want to spend $400 or $500 on their team and dominate the competition online until a brand new year starts, and you have to do it all over again. This one concept made EA Sports so much money that they neglect their franchise mode, they neglect most other aspects of their game, even their gameplay, and solely focus on this. And I guess because NCAA never really had an Ultimate Team mode until the latter part, their final year, which they discontinued the service after a while, they just didn't really fight for it back, because NCAA's replayability came from their offline game modes, which is why it was such a fan favorite. For example, their go-to game mode is a mode called Dynasty mode, where you pick a school, you try to either get a school that's a 1-star school all the way to a 5-star school by recruiting various high school players that come through, really trying to establish your team as the best team. Or you could be that guy that just chooses Alabama and just tries to continue dominating with them. It's really whatever you decide. Now, originally this license was available to everyone, including 2K, which made NCAA games back in 2002 and 2003. Eventually, it became an EA Sports exclusive, and then EA Sports stopped making it in 2013 after NCAA 14 because of the lawsuit. Now, we got some pretty crazy news today. If you were just minding your own business hanging out on Twitter, you saw this one tweet that may have blown your mind a little bit. It was an extremely vague tweet that said, "For those who never stopped believing, hashtag EA Sports College Football." So that's all you really needed to know. That's all you really had to read, because, well, it appears as though EA Sports College Football is coming back. Now, first things first, it's no longer going to be called NCAA Football. Rather, it's going to be called EA Sports College Football. Now, to give you the official news, according to EA Sports Vice President and General Manager Daryl Holt, he told ESPN the game maker will be returning to the space with EA Sports College Football. As we look for the momentum that we're building on in sports, it all starts with the passion of our fans and the opportunities of what they are interested in. I don't think a visit where I go outside wearing a piece of EA Sports branded apparel that someone doesn't go, "Hey, when is college football coming back?" It will at some point. Holt said that there is not a date on when the game will return, or even a date where the return will be announced, other than it won't be coming back for this year. So typically NCAA football games would get released around July-ish, if I recall, about a month or 2 months before Madden would get released. As a matter of fact, I first got introduced to the franchise because I was so excited about Madden coming out that I would play NCAA football while I waited for Madden to come out. Now, the question is, what changed with the lawsuits? How come EA Sports can make this game now and they couldn't before? Well, apparently EA Sports partnered with collegiate licensing company CLC to make sure they had the FBS schools, traditions, uniforms, and playbooks, among other things, ready to go for the game. So over 100 teams will be included in the game. But for now, EA Sports is planning to move forward without rosters that include the names, images, or likenesses of real college players. Current NCAA rules prohibit athletes from selling their rights while in college. Now, here's the part where it gets a little fishy. The reason why EA Sports got sued before is, say if you were playing NCAA football 2010 and you were playing with the Florida Gators, you would have a number 15 quarterback that would throw the ball left-handed, that had a white complexion on his skin, that had a similar build to Tim Tebow, but they would claim this was not Tim Tebow, this is QB number 15. And then eventually they went into the game's metadata and they found out that the guy's name was actually named Tim Tebow. But what they would do is they would allow you to have these rosters, and they would include a online roster tool for a community to go in and rename each and every current player. And that's how they would get around the entire situation about not being able to have the players' likenesses in. Now, what might happen here is you could see a complete distortion of each and every player. So, for example, instead of having quarterback number 16 on Clemson for, say, if it was last year, to be Trevor Lawrence, you may have just a completely random quarterback that looks nothing like Trevor Lawrence as a quarterback. Even though he's declaring for the draft, it's just an example. Holt said they will monitor the NIL discussion if and when things change, but it's too early for that to happen. So, in regards to the rights, this is what he had to say. We'll just keep tabs on everything as it develops and we'll be ready. That won't be a problem for us, but that's not an answer for us now to decide. We're as much passengers as anyone else. So we make sure we deliver what our college football game players would want in a game, and that starts with just a very immersive experience, and there's a lot of things that we can do to bring true college gameplay and game day to the virtual world. So the only piece of information we know for now is that NCAA football is coming back, but it's going to be called EA Sports College Football, and it's not going to be coming out this July. I'd assume it'd be coming out next July. But nevertheless, this is all very exciting news if you ask me. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this info and whether or not you'd be playing EA Sports College Football. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.